Hello and welcome to the first episode of a new feature here on Manitoba Football Feed called Catching Up with Des Catellier. To my left, I have the Calgary kid, fourth-year starting pivot for the Manitoba Bisons, Des Catellier. Des, it's great to have you here, man. How are you doing?
It's good to be here, man. I'm doing good, getting ready for week one. I'm excited.
Yeah, a lot of prep going into this week as you gear up to face Saskatchewan in the home opener tomorrow under the lights, 7 p.m. at IG Field. Do you get nerves before a game? Are you somebody that gets jitters, or at this point in your career, is it all kind of just been there, done that?
No, I think they're still there. I mean, it's just that excitement. I think I call it less nervousness and more excitement for the game. I get those butterflies, but I like to call that excitement. And then once we get warming up, that's when I really feel it. I can feel the jitters for sure. And then kind of we get out there doing the coin toss and everything, and I kind of forget about everything. I'm ready to go, get in the zone, get ready for the game, and once we start playing, that's all behind me.
Locked and loaded from the jump, which is awesome. Let's start by talking a little bit about this offense and the expectations, and then we'll go to some more personal information about yourself so that the viewers can get to know the man behind the helmet, Des Catellier. First to the field, we've got a really exciting offense this year with 6 backs that can all do damage and some playmaking receivers, obviously. But the biggest difference, I think, is at the offensive coordinator position, where Vaughn Mitchell, longtime coach for this program, returns to replace Blair Atkinson. And now he's more of a deep ball kind of guy mentality, whereas BA maybe was more middle field attack that way. How are you liking the differences with Vaughn's offense versus what you saw with BA?
Matt, I really like what we got this year. I mean, me and Coach Mitchell have been all off season been getting to know each other and working on the playbook together to see what fits both of us. And yeah, he has that more. He has a philosophy, and that's he wants to stretch the ball vertically and width of the field. Like he wants to use the entire field as the offense, but he's been able to incorporate some good quick passing game as well because he knows that's something I do very well. So he's a guy that he likes to play to his players. That's another part of his philosophy that he says is he's not going to do something that his players feel uncomfortable with. So he's been very adaptable to stuff that I like and the suggestions that I put in there. So I think we have a really good relationship, and all through this training camp, we've been working through different plays and different ways to attack a defense, and I think it's been going really well so far. We have a good relationship.
You are somebody that's fresh off of an East-West Bowl appearance earlier on this year, where your head coach, Brian Dobie, he praised on you for your professionalism throughout the week and really just being able to learn and take things in like a sponge, as well as being at Saskatchewan Roughriders camp. Those are 2 key moments, obviously, in any quarterback's career. But what were some of the big learning lessons you took from those experiences as you lead into this year as technically your second year? Well, mid-2017, so a year and a half going on as the guy, essentially. Yeah, no, I think East-West Bowl in particular was cool to go out there and you're with the best athletes at your age group in youth sports. So you see that, you get to see firsthand that competition level of everybody there. So I think for me, it was I just competed week in, week out, or just for the week, I guess, not week in, week out, but just the whole week was just a competition for me. So I took it. It was really cool. There are CFL scouts, there are CFL coaches there giving you little coaching here and there. And yeah, I was there to just try and take in anything I could. And I felt like I had a really good week of practice. I felt throughout the week I was doing a good job getting to know the offense and everything. And the game's always tough. I felt like I did a good job during the game, but the game's tough when you have to play quarter by quarter. You're splitting time, and you don't necessarily always get the perfect play calls that you want yourself. But it's just a tough situation for a game when you have to split the time and stuff like that. But I felt like I still was able to put out a good foot forward and just show what I can do. And then the Riders camp was awesome. That was just 2.5 weeks going out there and seeing how pros do stuff, and just being in a quarterback room with Zach Claros, Cody Fajardo, and a couple of the other rookies like Isaac Harker, who's on the team now. Actually forming friendships with those guys, guys that when I went to Regina for the preseason game, I went and met up with Cody and Isaac and just caught up with them. They're just friends of mine now. So it was cool that, and just to see how they approach the game of football, mentally. It's a grind, and training camp's the biggest grind of a CFL season, right? So it's just to see how they do stuff. Meetings are from 3 to 9 o'clock. It's a long
long time, but then when you go back, it's not over. Like, you go back, you want to study more. You want to study, you got to make sure you know your stuff. So it's just a constant grind, and just to see how those guys, handled that, and how much time they have to put into football and take it that seriously. It was an awesome experience. And on the field, it was just to see what those guys were doing on the field and pick up tips from them on footwork stuff or throwing mechanic stuff. Like, it was really good, a good experience for sure.
This week's game against Saskatchewan, how much their defense, I believe, is relatively similar to what last year's defense looked like in a lot of ways. How much do you know about this particular addition of Saskatchewan's defense, due to the fact that they didn't play an exhibition game, so you don't really have any tape, I don't believe, on anything they would have done up to this year. So what do you know about them, and what have you been looking at sort of in film? I mean, in film, we're watching what they did last year towards the later parts of last year, because they switched up what they did kind of from the first game we saw them in week 2 and we saw them in week 7. They were a completely different defense by week 2 to week 7. So we expect them to be in that defense more like they had at the end of the year, because they had a lot of success to the end of the year. They ran a 30 front defense, and they dropped off a lot of guys, and they had a lot of success with what they were doing. So we expect them to come back with that same mentality as they had closer to the end of the year last year compared to the start of the year. Watching film for week 1 is always tough, though, because it's you don't know. They could come up with something completely different. Like, you just don't know. But I mean, one thing is you can also who the returning guys are. You scout them up, so you can just look at little tendencies that people have. Like, they have a very good D line. Like, that's been their strength of their team. Evan Machabroda is a guy that is definitely highlighted on any team that's playing Saskatchewan. It's highlighted in that name right there. He's one of the most dominant guys in the conference. And they had an addition, Nick Daly, who was a former Rookie of the Year in the Canada West with Regina, and he's coming back with Sask this year. And he was at East-West Bowl as well, so I did get a little vision of what he's like, and he's a very good player as well, playing on the DN position. So that's just stuff we have to be prepared for with the guys they're going to have in personnel. But I mean, week 1 there's going to be a lot of in-game adjustments, because we're going to have to see what they do in the first couple drives, what they really look like this year compared to last year. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out in. Yeah, you mentioned Nick Daly there just now. Definitely a guy that drew a lot of heads when he was at Regina first, and then took the year, and then off to play junior, and then now back with Saskatchewan. Certainly, like you said, a strength for them, their D-line. Let's talk about you were potentially evading the D-line with your speed. An area of your game that I think a lot of people were, I don't mean to be rude here, but maybe were surprised with your abilities to move out of the pocket and make plays with your legs last season. How much have you worked on your speed, and what areas do you do that in the off season? Who do you work with, and how much do you prioritize it versus throwing and getting into the playbook and stuff like that? I mean, for me, the scrambling part isn't something I consider a big part of my game. I think it's something I can do, and I do think I surprised people with what I could do there, because I'm not a very fast, straightforward guy. I know that. I don't run a fast 40. Like, that's not what I do. But I feel like I can move quick. I can move out of stuff quick. I can get out of the pocket quick. I can make plays. I'm not going to run 80 yards for a touchdown, but I can pick up a first down when we need one. So I mean, in the off season, I'm just working out with our team, with Cole Scheller, like in our workout program. I mean, he has a lot of things to work on speed, and we work with the track coach as well. And just little speed tips on that. I make sure I'm trying to get better in that aspect as well. But I think when I'm preparing for the season, I'm preparing to throw the ball. Like all off season, it's I'm there, I'm in the pocket, I'm throwing, or I'm on the move and I'm throwing. And that's another thing I like to, like, when I scramble, I'd rather scramble to throw the ball than scramble to run. Like, I try and scramble and try and find an open receiver rather than try and pick it up myself. Just get it into the receiver's hands. They can make plays, and that's their job to make the play. It's not my job to make. My job is to get the ball into their hands so they can make the play, right? So that's what I focus on. I want to give a quick shout out to Cole Scheller. Oh yeah, does a great job as the S&C lead guy for the Bison sports teams, not just football, obviously, but a lot of them. Let's talk a little bit about Des Catellier, the person without the helmet on. You've got a sibling, Luke, who also was with the Bisons at one point in time. Describe to me a relationship you have with your brother and what things are like off the field, because you're both heavy football guys.
Yeah, for sure. No, me and Luke, we're best friends. Like he's my best friend off the field. I mean, he's always supportive. Like he's very, very supportive of my athletic career. He's always been there. He always comes watch the games, always gives me little pointers or something that he sees in what I'm doing. And he's always, and then off the field is just like, we're always trying, like if I'm in Calgary and he's in Calgary, it's like I'm over at his house all the time. Like that's who I want to hang out with. Like he's honestly my best friend. And I appreciate everything he does for me, because he looks out for me, and he definitely supports me in anything I do on and off the field.
Now let's go to 10 questions, something that we're going to do every week this season with Des to finish off all of our interviews. We're going to get to know Des a little bit more every week as the season goes along, with more personal questions week after week kind of thing for the viewers and for the general public to sort of, know the background of our number one pivot, our QB1. So 10 questions this week. First question, what's been the highlight of your week so far?
Of this week, I think yesterday's practice. We had a great practice yesterday. I think we were really crisp, and I think it was just a good vibe, good competitive vibe all week in practice. Like I felt really good coming out of yesterday's practice. That was the highlight for me.
Awesome. What's your? Do you do a music playlist for the game? Do you listen to music to hype you up? If so, what's on your iPhone or whatever your device is?
I got some music. I like to get out early on the field before, put my headphones in, throw around a little bit. I think my favorite guy is Kanye West. That's some old school Kanye West. That's what I like to get to listen to before. That gets me going for sure. It gets me in the zone.
Late registration or college dropout?
College dropout for sure. Like my favorite songs got to be Stronger. That's just classic pregame music 100%. Right there. Yeah.
Love it, man. I'm a through and through Kanye guy myself.
Yeah.
So couldn't agree with you more there. Yeah. What do you eat for your pregame meal?
I like to have some pasta. Usually, it's just classic, just some pasta, some chicken pasta or something like that. Get some protein, get some carbs. That's just been a classic for me ever since I played hockey in ever since I was like 9 years old. Like my mom would always cook up pasta before a game or something like that. That's my favorite pregame meal. Are
you a guy that watches a lot of movies? Do you have time to watch movies?
Not a lot of movies. I'm more of a TV show kind of guy when I try and watch something. Not a lot of movies, no.
What kind of TV shows are you watching?
I like some certain, like Westworld, HBO. I think that's my favorite show on right now. But like kind of growing up, my favorite show is The Office. That's what whenever I'm in doubt of what I want to watch, I'll put on some Office. I like that kind of stuff, like that, or like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or some of those comedy shows. I like those for sure.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm a comedy guy myself. Yeah. Definitely. Have you ever watched Parks and Recreation?
Yes, I love Parks and Rec too. That's a good one.
Another solid
for sure.
choice right there. Sports teams. Let's talk about different sports. Are you a fan outside of football? Are you a fan of hockey? Are you a fan of basketball? Do you watch other sports?
Yeah, I think basketball will be my next sport that I watch a lot. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I'm a Boston sports fan. I'm that guy, So I like the Red Sox, I like the Boston Bruins, I like the Celtics, and I like the Patriots. Those are kind of my teams in for those major sports kind of thing. It all started with the Boston Bruins though, because I was a hockey guy when I was young, and Mark Savard was my favorite player, and he played for the Bruins, so I became a Bruins fan, and kind of took off from there, cheering for the Boston sports teams.
That's awesome. I know for a fact that Luke is very passionate on social media about the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're loyal to one city, that it's every team from that city.
Yeah.
You don't maybe necessarily see every person out there with that same kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And I am also a humongous New England Patriots fan, so you guys are on my good side in that regard. What do you think about the team's chances this year?
The Patriots, they're gonna make a run at it every year, I think. As long as they have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, it's tough pickings for the other teams in the AFC, I think. I don't see the Patriots not making the AFC Championship like they do every year. That's something I expect from them, and I think they got a very good, talented young team around those guys this year. Even Bill Belichick said in an interview he thinks this team is better than last year, and they won the Super Bowl last year, right? So I got big expectations for this year, just like every year.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, without Gronk, it certainly
Yeah.
hurts. But they did draft. They got a big wideout now to give them some N'Keal Harry to give them a vertical threat. And Josh Gordon is back.
Yeah.
So
no, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how our Patriots do this year.
Yeah.
Got high
That'll be
hopes.
cool.
Yeah, as usual for sure. Next one for you. What in your off time? You don't have much of it.
Yeah, no.
But in your off time, what do you try to do when you're not on the football field or studying in the playbook?
I like to play a little bit of 2K, 2K19, 2K18. That's what I invite a lot of the guys over. That's what we come over.
Nice.
Like anytime we have free time as a team, a lot of the guys are coming to my house and we're playing some 2K. So that's kind of something I like to do. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm a big basketball guy. Like I played basketball in high school. I kind of miss playing it. So that's kind of how I get my fix is playing through a little bit of video games for sure. It's a lot of fun.
I see a lot of the guys on the football team on the court in the off season down there at the brown and gold gyms, getting in some of that work.
Oh yeah.
Figure you're probably one of those guys up in there.
Yeah, I'm down there. For sure.
You guys should connect. Our videographer Neil is a great basketball.
Is he?
Yeah, he loves basketball too.
He come out
come
for
down,
sure.
Play some pickup with the team and stuff like that.
No, for sure.
Where are you living at? What's your living situation here in the city? How long have you been in the place you're currently situated?
This will be my second year in this place. I lived in this place for a year. It's on 70 Loyola Bay, so it's kind of right 5 minutes away from the university. I live with 4 other guys in the team: Riley Harrison, Nick Thomas, RJ Shelley, and Caleb Abraham. So we got a nice place together. Like Jaden McCoy used to live there last year. I lived with Jaden last year. He just moved out. So it's a house with a bunch of the guys on the team. You know, it's a lot of fun. I like living with them. When I first came here, I lived on res, but I liked it for a year, but kind of wanted to move out into a little house after that. So it's been a good situation.
That's nice. It's good to have, especially like people that rent their houses out. It just gives you more space to
for sure.
to bond and have people over for team dinners and things like that. That's good. What are you taking in school?
I'm actually switching this year. So last year, kind of leading up into this year, I was trying to get into kinesiology and try and go that route. But this year, I kind of made the switch. I took a lot of psychology classes as I was going through kin, and kind of actually was just always my favorite class. I always loved it, and so I'm switching. I'm going to try and major in psychology and minor in sociology. So I'm really excited for this year's school. Take a lot of psychology classes, get deep into that kind of stuff, and it's just a really big interest of mine, and I'm excited for this year to be taking that.
I know we have a very strong sports psychology department here at the U of M, so that'll be an exciting venture to sort of dive into and that kind of thing. When you're in the off season, how often do you go home compared to while you're here? Are you here pretty frequently, or do you like to go back to your hometown, back to Calgary, to be with the family as much as you can?
I'm in Winnipeg a lot. I'd say so. Christmas break, I'll go home for a couple weeks then. And then in the summer, I usually try and find time to go back for about 2 weeks. But other than that, I try and be here, try and train with the team, be with the team, and make sure I'm here. Like, I know I'm a leader of this team, so I don't want to just leave for 3 months and they don't see my face. So that's kind of, I miss my family a lot. I wish I could see them a little bit more, but I make sure I make the most of that time when I get the chance back in Calgary and try and call them when I can, when I'm here in Winnipeg. But I like to spend a lot. This has kind of been my new home. Like after my first year, I went home the whole summer. After that, I missed home, and now it's kind of, as I've been here more, like this team has turned into my family. So I like to be here. I like to be around these guys.
That's great. It's always nice to have that mentality of knowing that you got a family here as well.
Exactly.
Good stuff. What are some of your favorite parts about living in Winnipeg? Just the city itself, compared to Calgary. What are some differences maybe, or what are some things that you don't like about one compared to the other?
Well, one thing I don't like about Winnipeg is the driving. I don't like the roads. Like there's lights everywhere. Like in Calgary, it's all like nice highway driving. Like I get frustrated trying to drive around here. That's for sure. That's one thing I don't like. But I like the nice community vibe. I think it's more of an old school place than Calgary. Calgary's got a lot of they're always trying to new stuff, big buildings, stuff like that. Whereas this has more history behind it. A lot of the places has more history. It's more of a community. People feel pride in Winnipeg of the history behind it. I like that aspect of it. I don't go touring around Winnipeg a lot, to be honest. I'm right around the stadium pretty much most of my life. So I love the stadium here. I love the atmosphere in this little south end of the campus and the stadium. Like I really like that too. So I don't know. I just really like the people in Winnipeg too. The people I've met here, the guys on the team. It just that's more what I like. I really enjoy being around these people here. So that's what I've liked the best probably.
Friendly Manitoba.
Yeah, friendly Manitoba.
Like to be known at here in the 204. Last question for you here as we round off our first 10 questions segment of the year. Des Catellier. Is that something that's caught on a little bit with the team? A little bit of context here for social media. There are captions that are used for under whatever the player is saying for a video or so that if you're just scrolling, you can you don't have to click on it necessarily. You can have the subtitles, and for some strange reason, the computer auto-programmed Des Catellier to Des Catellier.
Des Catellier.
Will it continue this year? Do you think it's going to catch on?
I mean, the day after it got posted on Twitter, I think every coach and every player was calling me Des Catellier. And honestly, at first, when they were first calling me, it sounds so much like Des Catellier. It's hard to notice. But it's I think it's something that it might stick around, a little joke, Des Catellier. It's kind of funny. I think it's pretty funny. It's a funny little mistake that happened. That kind of like the more I hear it, the more it just sounds like Des Catellier, and it's hard for me to even differentiate the two things. But I think it's a funny little thing that could go around the team a little bit this year for sure.
There we go. Des Catellier, also known as Des Catellier in some circles. Man, I appreciate your time, Des.
It's been awesome.
Looking forward to doing this all year with you, and all the best tomorrow as you prep for the home and season opener against Saskatchewan.
Thank you very much. Hope everybody can come out today or tomorrow.
Absolutely. Hope to see you there.